Okay, I'm really ready to get going now with my knit Tank Tunic. Here's my pattern. Here's my electronic pattern. And I noticed today that my electronic pattern has updated automatically. Has been updated on my Nook. I have a Nook HD Plus that I use for my patterns and stuff. It updated automatically because it corrected that gauge thing I was talking about. Because it had it had a crochet gauge listed, and it should have had a knitting gauge. So after I contacted Yarnspirations and mentioned that to them, they took care of it. So now it says 18 stitches equals 4 inches with larger needles in stockinette stitch. So for this pattern, the larger needles were the size 8 needles. And as you know from my earlier video, I realized that I knit tight, so I need to use larger needles for my pattern. Now, I read through the whole pattern last night. Again, I always do that. I always double check everything when I'm working on it, especially for a garment. If I were making a scarf or something, it wouldn't matter, because you know it's just going to be wrapped around your body. But if you're making a garment like this, you do need to double check and make sure that everything is right so that it'll fit you. You don't want it to be hanging like out to here, or to be so tight that you can hardly wear it. So be sure to read through the whole pattern. So I looked through everything and I circled my size and all that. I talked to you about that in the last video. And then today I thought, well, since my yarn that I'm using stripes, has color striping, I need to check, because I'd like for my back and my front to have the same striping from bottom to top. I don't want it to be different looking from when I turn. So I decided to look at the instructions, and I noticed that it says the front work the same as the back. So in effect, I'm going to be making 2 of the back. It's easy. It's the same exact thing twice. So whenever I knit anything and I'm doing exactly the same thing twice, instead of doing them one at a time, I make them both at the same time. Now, some people, when they make patterns like this, will decide that they want to work in the round and go round and round and round and make theirs, but I don't like to work in the round. The reason why I don't like to work in the round for a garment like this, unless the pattern says to, is because the seam at the side is going to help hold this garment in place. It'll make it have a good construction. I've noticed that when I wear a garment that's been knit in the round, sometimes it'll have a tendency to twist as I'm wearing it, because of the natural twist of the yarn. So when you knit 2 pieces and you seam it, it just holds the garment together better. It makes it more sturdy. So I'm going to be making 2, but I'm going to make them both at the same time, because I'm doing exactly the same thing, and that way my stripes will exactly match. That's the way I like to do it. That's the way I roll. So this pattern says at the very beginning, pattern stitch, eyelet stripes, and it describes all of that pattern stitch. But that's not how you get started making the garment. Then it says notes, when working side, armhole, la la la. That's not how you start the garment either. Here's where you start. Back. That is the beginning of your pattern. Using smaller needles, cast on however many stitches you need to cast on. Small, medium, large, extra large, 2x, 3x. So I need to cast on 131 stitches. So when I cast on, I'm going to cast on 131 stitches with 1 skein of yarn, and then I'm going to cast on another 131 stitches with another skein of yarn, but it's all going to be on the same needle. So I need smaller needles. For the pattern, it says your smaller needles are size 6. But I learned that I knit tight, so my smaller needles are size 7. So I've got these size 7 24-inch needles. I think that 24 inches is going to be enough to hold 262 stitches. And if it's not, then I can switch to another needle I have that's longer. So with my size 7 needles, first I'm going to get out 2 skeins of my Bernat Mosaic yarn. And 2. So it's going to take me twice as long to make mine, but when I finish, everything's going to be done. I'm not going to have to start over to make the front. I'll have them both going at the same time. So I've got to get my skeins started. So I find the piece of yarn that's stuck into the center and I pull it out because that's the outside strand. Wrap that, secure it under the label, because I like to work from the center. I don't like to work from the outside. Some people like to work from the outside of the skein, but I like to work from the middle. So I just pull around in there until I find, whoop, that's not going to be little. I need to plait a small section, not a big one. There we go, that's better. Get that undone. Find the actual center here. And when I look at this, I'm going to look at how the colors are arranged. It starts off with this purple rose color, and then it goes to a green. So I'm going to compare that to how the center of my other skein looks, because I want to start with exactly the same coloration. So look at this one. Find a strand that's coming from the center. Pull that out. And I might end up using a different skein to start with, so that I start with the same coloration on both skeins. Pull that out. So this one's starting blue and purple. Let me get another skein. That one is already been pulled from the center, so I'm going to see what change happens here. I've got purple, now I've got some rose, so I might be getting to the section that's going to be rose and green, or that might be, this is purple and blue, it looks like. Yeah, this is purple and blue. So this one matches up with that other one. So I think that's what I'm going to start with. So I'm going to set this one aside. Can you tell that I'm a little bit OCD? That's just the way I've always been. I have to live with myself the way I am. Alright, so this one has a lot of blue, and then it goes to purple. This one is purple, and then it's green, I think. Let's look at that again. Yeah, this looks like it might be a different. I want to see what happens after the purple over here. I might start with the purple. Yeah, that looks like that's going to match up there. So what I need to do is get this purple from that skein and find a match on that other skein that's exactly the same color purple. So I just hold those beside each other. It looks like this is going to be a good match right here. I'm just eyeballing it, but it feels right. Before I do that, though, I'm going to pull both strands at the same time and pull them through my fingers until I get where they switch from purple to blue. Okay, so there's the blue coming in over there. So I'm going to find the blue Coming in on this one. Almost there. Just like Star Wars, you know, when they're looking for that spot where they're gonna take that shot and take down the Death Star. Almost there. Almost there. Here we go. So this is right. So these match up. See how they match exactly? So now I'm going to pull that way. So I can get to the beginning. Oh, I'm getting them tangled. Not a good idea. But tangling sometimes happens with knitting. You just have to live with it. So the reason I'm doing this is so that my front and my back will match exactly. There is a method to my madness. Alright. So I think I'm getting close to where I want it to be. This could actually be opposite. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you'll have a skein of yarn where the color direction goes in one direction in one skein and it goes in another direction in the other skein. So they're opposites, and that could be what's happening with these two skeins. It'll happen sometimes. Let me pull out some more of that other. See if it starts getting really blue. Yeah, so that's the way that's going. So it looks like these are going in opposite directions. So now I need to rethink my plan. So I'm going to keep working on my color matching conundrum, and you can work on your yarn selection until you decide which one you like, and I will see you in the next video.